Hello, everyone. Welcome, everyone. Welcome, Anna. Thank you so much for doing this.
Hello, everyone. Thank you. Thank you all for being here. Yep, it's mutual.
We are live streaming this on YouTube and Facebook. If you have any questions, you can type the questions via YouTube or Facebook. You can also ask a question by raising your hand here. Just a reminder, we have an online event with Anna this weekend. If you want to join, I'll put the link over there. It's going to be fun, radically, wonderfully, nothing. Anna Brown.
Hi, everyone. Hello. So, what is a sense of self? It's oneness playing with itself. And that's this. This is oneness playing with itself. God speaking unto itself. You could say this is neurons communicating with each other, similar to that. The heart communicating to the rest of the body. There is only the body of oneness, and it's manifesting as all these faces. Holy shit. So there's nothing missing. You've not done anything wrong. Life wants to be you. Life wants to appear as you, including your quirks, your personality, your challenges, in life circumstances. So this message is not spiritual, it's not self-help, and it's not religious, because we're speaking about what is. And what is what so many want to call God. It's life force, you see? And it's not appearing for a reason. It's an innocence. So this is not going anywhere, and it's not coming from anywhere. So in essence, this is the absolute appearing relative already. But there may be some ideas, some stories and beliefs that you have maybe carried along the way that says, nope, no siree, Bob, I've got karma, I've got sin, and I got to do something with it. Well, there's nothing wrong with those things either. That's also the absolute, a plain as sin, plain as karma. But none of those stories, none of those paths, none of those beliefs will bring you closer to this. We're speaking about something so simple. It really can't be described. How do we describe it when it's already appearing as this? It's what's looking through what you call your eyes. However, when there's a sense of separation, there's a concreteness and there's a person peering through the eyes, and that person peering has a lot of baggage, right? So much needs to change. So much needs to be healed. Oh, something's missing. Oh, I don't feel right yet. We're not selling a feeling here. We're not selling a state of consciousness. In fact, we're not selling anything. We're celebrating what we already know. So I'm not special. I'm not a guru, and I'm not a teacher. I'm a friend. I'm a mirror. And we're here to talk about that which we already know. This is home. You are God. You are source. You are life force. It's not special. Or you could say everything is special. So we can tango today. We can dance. We can talk. We can chat. Feel free to ask questions. But I got to tell you, those questions won't bring you closer, because the questioner and the answer is the same essence. It's the one force, seemingly appearing as two. And that will never collapse. You won't get rid of being human. You won't get rid of this lucid dream, this appearance. It goes on, it carries on, but impersonally, so to speak. So what we call liberation is really an apparent dissolvement of seeking. Because when you find out that you're it, this is home, there's no longer seeking enlightenment. Because enlightenment is just a mere idea. It's a mere story. Now, if you lose your car keys, you may look for that. If you lose your credit card, sure, you may go seek and look for that. But that's divinity looking for a credit card. Divinity looking for the car keys. So this is it. This is home. And if you have a question or anything you'd like to share, please feel free. And we're going to ping pong off of each other. Cheers.
There is a question here from Jane. Hi, Anna. So much resonance here, and I don't know what's happening. When I speak to you, there's peacefulness. What is resonating? I don't know what it is.
Right. So what we are is already awake, and who we think we are is what's asleep. So what resonates is what so many want to call source. It's intuitive. Everything we're speaking about here is intuitive. It's not logical and it's not time bound. So that yummy feeling or that sense you may feel, which is visceral because the body is the absolute. So of course you may feel a sensation through the body as we communicate today. That's it. That's it. It's just recognizing yourself in another body, so to speak, because you are hearing yourself. And it's like a spidey sense, I like to say, because this bypasses all the stories. This bypasses all time bound logic, and it goes to the core of the heart of what is, and that's beingness. Or if you don't like the word beingness, feel free to use energy, God, divinity, but that's what you're hearing. And that's what's nodding yes in that visceral sensation.
Hello, Anna. Thank you for doing this. This is from Kim. Can you also call this depersonalized oneness?
Depersonalize, is that what you said?
Depersonalized, yeah. Oneness.
Well, in oneness, the person appears. So there's nothing wrong with having a personality or feeling like you're in control with free will and being a person. There's no one here who wants to change that. That's divinity playing with itself. So whether you feel like you're seeking or not, that is it. That is liberation appearing as seeking or not. There is only that.
This one is from James. Can you please tell me if there is an inside or an outside happening?
Only in the dream of separation is there an inside or outside. Actually, all of this co-arises. It co-arises. Now, when there's a sense of separation and there's a me in here believing they're trudging through time on a mission, yeah, the belief system seem to paint and coexist and paint this beautiful neutrality. So the inside is the outside is the end. There isn't a separation with that. It's a seamlessness. Now, when we feel like we are a real person, we're trying to get inside somewhere, right? Like, okay, let's get in the vibration, let's go inward, right? All these types of words, but all of this is the body of wholeness, all of it. But in and out does appear, obviously. If you're outside, let's go inside. These words appear, that play appears. It's a light show. It's Leela.
This is from Tasca. After the recognition that there is no you, does the character still continue to develop itself, or is this part of the seeking energy?
Oh, my word. Yeah, there can be an apparent evolution. For example, maybe the character wants to run faster, wants to bench press more, or wants to work on their tone of singing. That can still arise. An evolution still arises, but trying to find yourself in singing or running or bench pressing collapses. You are the fulfillment. So trying to find fulfillment in those activities collapses, and it's just more of a joy than a need for it or trying to find an identity through it.
Question from Vince. Can you talk about the change that happens when awakening is realized? Does all desire drop out, including personal interest, etc.?
Again, so evolution can still arise, the apparent evolution, but there is something that is so stable, something that is unmoving and unchanging. That is the joy we're speaking about. But the character can seem to age or get fat or skinny or get a big zit on their forehead, or interest can seem to develop or whatever it is, right? But again, it's not trying to find oneself through those activities, through those validations. See, it's that collapses, but those things can carry on, but without the need or codependency.
Question here. So, in the story, everything that happened in the past is just a story. I can't wrap my head around it. Thank you, Anna.
So time is illusory. So when we talk about, let's say, where we went to high school or what we did when we were 5, it's arising in and as this. But when we feel separate, it's very real and concrete. And that's why, the stories of healing are very enticing. Karma and sin, right? Because your past is important and you're responsible because you did it. The message here is there isn't a separate you. There's only divinity appearing as everything, as trauma, healing that trauma. Yeah. And even if there is a character that seems to heal trauma or something like that, it's not what we're speaking about here, because there is only liberation. There can be a person that seems to heal depression or anxiety or a broken leg. That's just healing a broken leg or diminishing anxiety or depression. You see, that doesn't bring you closer to divinity. Already divinity can appear as depression or anxiety. However, I can say that most anxiety and depression is time bound, rooted in the story. So that does seem to dwindle and fizzle and soften.
Thank you for doing this, Anna and Emerson. Can you talk about unconditional love?
Yeah, that's this. But unconditional love, it depends on how you're reading that, sensing it, and the stories around it. So if you are on a path of spirituality or religion, unconditional love can look a certain way, almost like a fantasy. But unconditional love is darkness and light. It is war, and it is peace and prosperity. It's everything. It's what's arising as this. And so that's what I mean. This is an inclusiveness. It's everything: sadness, hunger, pain, pleasure. That is unconditional love. And we have to underline the unconditional part because it's so free. It allows everything to be as it is because it is everything already.
This question is from God, from YouTube. Anna,
Nice.
God asked, Anna, my question is, why was Earth created as a storyline?
You tell me. Earth is a story, and we play in that like as a collective, so to speak. So that goes on. It's not that it's just, ooh, that's over. It's just seen through. It's no more real than Alice in Wonderland. So if we're on a path, Earth is real and it needs help, right? And maybe I'm here to save it, or we need to change it, and all of these things. And maybe that still arises, right? Saving the whale, saving the dolphins, saving whatever, that can still appear. But the identity, the need for it to happen, that the codependency with it collapses, because it's seen that this is a light show, that everything is this. So those stories do collapse. A lot of those beliefs totally collapse.
Question here. Why do dreams sometimes become reality?
I guess you'd have to go a little deeper with that. What do you mean by your dreams become reality? This is a dream. This here is a dream. When you're separate, you have a dream at night and then you awake here. And there's a lot of separation because it's time bound. My dreams, they're manifesting into reality. This here is a lucid dream. This is a dream. Real and unreal simultaneously. But that is just what's happening. So if someone, let's say they have a dream, there's a Black Panther or whatever, and then, I don't know, it manifests on TV the next day, a Black Panther, it's just what's arising. But if there's a sense of separation, there's intense meaning in that Black Panther. And I need to go buy every book on shamanism so I can see what's going on with my life and how it's applying and how it's moving me closer to God or divinity or whatever it is. It's just stuff happening. It's no more important than drinking coffee in the morning.
This one is from Sana, from YouTube. You say God and divinity. Is that not the religious story?
Yeah, it's just a word. You can use the word Skittles if you like. No word can encapsulate what we are, but this resonates with God and source and life force. If you like energy better, go for it, man. Go for it.
This one is another one from God. For one to experience unconditional love, do a good deed in secret a day for 7 days.
Holy shit, man. That sounds like a prescription.
I think so,
There's,
yeah.
there's nothing
God.
wrong with that, man, but it's okay. Go for it. That floats your boat. Cool. But that won't bring, doing 7 good deeds a day or whatever you just said doesn't bring you closer to this. See, the fallacy is if I do all of these good things, I'm going to get closer. Oh my God, do you see what I'm doing down here? Come on, bring me good shit. No, no, already. Whatever is arising, whether you're doing good deeds or not doing good deeds, you're not choosing to do it. It's just what's arising. However, there can be a belief and misconception that I need good karma, right? It's just an idea. You were told about karma. You were told about good deeds. What constitutes as a good deed anyways, God? What does?
Question here. What does it mean when this is from Vince? What does it mean when non-dual speakers say that things, events in the past didn't happen?
Did your dream happen last night, really? Or it just seemed to be? So we're speaking of a paradox that is real and unreal simultaneously. And that's why this is not logical. It's intuitive. And it's almost like a dagger right in the heart. Like, it's, you get it or you don't. And that's the shitty part about this, because it's intuitive. The mind's trying to relate everything to references in time. Points. There is no point.
Question here. John, there's a lot of talk in spiritual circles about the dark night of the soul, in quotation, which scares the heck out of me. I'd love to hear your words on that. Anna, thanks. Smiley face.
Yeah, so yeah, that's common. And I heard this too, you know, and then you almost expect, oh my God, when's it coming? When's the dark night of the soul coming? Because I'm reading all about it. It's almost like I'm expecting it to happen. Nothing has to happen. This is so natural and so simple. It's already your breath. However, for some characters, it did arise here where there was lots of turbulence. This character was just very stubborn and resistant. I also was convoluted by religion and spirituality. So there was a lot of ideas that almost needed to happen, you see, but it doesn't. It doesn't. There's no rules to this. Holy crap. Yay.
Question here. Hi, Anna. Hi, Emerson. Can you say what is meant by codependency?
Codependency. Things need to be altered for you to feel okay. The relationship, the job, the sofa, the t-shirt, the television, things need to be altered so you can have a sense of well-being, so to speak. Right? And maybe that works for a little bit, right? We chop our hair off, we paint our face, we get a new tattoo, we feel cool for a little bit, right? Woo! But it's not lasting, it's totally fleeting. What we're speaking about is stable. It doesn't move in that sense. It's always here. It's here right now. But an idea says, well, you know what? If I had more money, if I lost some weight, if I meditated more, if I had a bigger house, then I would feel better. That's the trap. But that's oneness playing that game until it seemingly ends. And this is just a reminder, so to speak.
Mike asks, some non-duality teachers say there is no such thing as source, but you say there is source.
Meh. Call it what you will. There's an energy. There is an essence. Some call it presence. It doesn't matter. The words, it doesn't matter. This is wordlessness appearing as words, formlessness appearing as form. So no word, no matter how beautiful it sounds, will ever encapsulate you. Isn't that wonderful?
Question here from I can hear Leela. Cute. Are you in the
Yes.
view that we cannot bring this realization dropping off? I'll repeat. Are you in the view that we cannot bring this realization dropping of the sense of separation about by anything we can do ourselves? Want me to
So
repeat?
no, I get you. I get you.
Okay.
So already when we talk about this, there can be a pickle because it seems like something needs to happen. What I'm really, really saying is nothing is happening and nothing needs to happen because already this is magnificence appearing as what you call you. This is divinity hiding in form or formlessness appearing as form. Whatever you'd like to call it, this is the absolute. This is the absolute appearing relative. So a lot of beings have ideas, especially if they've walked religious and spiritual paths, get rid of the human, get rid of the human, get rid of the human. No, what's wrong with human, man? That's great. You see, so what seems to dissolve is the idea that this should not be. And when that idea dissolves, anything can arise, pain, pleasure, challenges. exhaustion, the baby downstairs whimpering, anything can appear. And that is wholeness appearing as that.
Question here is from Mike: is to just be, in quotes, the same as this message? Just be.
Well, to just be it sounds like an action step. Who's going to just be? This is already being loud, being quiet, being goofy. There's only being. But when we're on a spiritual path, we have an idea of being very still and poised. And, it's everything. It's chaos. It's silence. And it's this already. So nothing needs to change. We just seem to have ideas of, I shouldn't be like this. I should be more quiet. If I was really enlightened, I wouldn't like pizza or beer or football. Oh, come on. It's all wholeness appearing as divinity, or as pizza and football and meditation and breath work and braiding hair. Awesome. Yay.
Question here. Anna, can you dance to hard rock? Just let's ask her.
You betcha. You turn on any beat, I'll break it down, man.
Sammy asks, hi Anna, thanks for this. When I meditate, I often tell my mind to look for what is looking and then just allow whatever is present to exist. Sometimes I feel the inner brightness within my heart chakra. Sometimes it is strong and sometimes faint. Do you have guidance or comments on this practice?
No, so there's no practice to be what you already are. So if there's like a heart chakra activation or you feel like there's a warmth in your heart, that's just what's arising. But wholeness in the absolute can also appear as tension in the shoulders. Now, if we've been on a path, we can think, this means I'm not there yet. If I have tension in my shoulders, that means like I'm like not holy, or I've got sin or karma, and that should not be there. No, what we're really saying is it's everything. This is the yin and the yang, darkness and light. So it can appear as anything, not just, oh my God, bliss and gratitude and, ooh, that's so great. Yeah, it can appear as, fuck, this sucks right now. Yeah.
So there's just someone asking, how come the Zoom is broken? You just have to refresh your browser because there was a meeting before to get in. Some people are trying to get in. Question here. Anna, I get fear in the body manifest as unpleasant sensations in the head.
Yeah, and that seems to be what arises when there's a sense of separation. Now, I gotta say, thoughts arise here, emotions arise here, sensation arises here. There's not a tug or war with it anymore. There's no one being tossed around. Plus, the add-on of the idea is that it shouldn't be there. You see, what we're speaking about is organic and natural, which could be anger or fear or frustration or gladness. There's no longer an idea that says, anger, get out of town. You shouldn't be here because you're low vibrational. It's literally the absolute appearing as anger. Awesome.
Question here. Hi, an awakening happened here 2 years ago and body-mind identification seemed through. Great joy and freedom was present for months, and when the thoughts came back, it was lost. What can be done now? By Blue Black Whip.
You never lost it. That is this and this is that. So what? There's thoughts. The absolute appears as thoughts. So what? It's just an idea that there shouldn't be thoughts. You're not choosing them. You're also not choosing that question or the emotions that are arising. It's just happening, similar to weather patterns, you see? But if there may be an idea that's arising that says I shouldn't have thoughts, or I need to get back to that state, we're not speaking about a state. We're speaking about the absolute. And the absolute is everything, so anything can appear.
Tony asks, when I practice meditation and energy work with the guru, I can feel my energy increase and I feel better. Why does my energy feel stronger than when I say I drink every day?
Oh, well, obviously, that can seem to arise. Someone who eats, let's say, potato chips every day, never has a vegetable, I don't know, they may start to feel a little sluggish or something. That seems to arise, right? Same with someone who, let's say, exercises every day, or I don't know, takes a shower every day. You smell a little better, right? That seems to arise within the story of time. These things do arise. However, whether you're eating potato chips, running a marathon, or you're doing whatever the energy work is with the guru, it's all liberation already. The idea and the misconception is this here, this feeling is better than this, or this means I'm there and that doesn't. You see, that collapses. The here and there collapses. The better and worse collapses.
I know this question. Why do you got children?
Oh, well, why do, trees drop acorns, and why does, fish reproduce, and why do animals reproduce? It's just what's happening. You're no different than nature. This is nature and it's fucking wild, and it can appear as having babies. There's no choice in that. You see, there may be an idea though that I need to abandon my family and move to India so I can become enlightened. Nonsense. We're speaking about something natural and organic here, man. And it's having babies or not. It's a character trait. It's all the absolute. So yeah. Oh my God. So great.
This question is from. Sorry, I'm getting so many questions here. Um, uh, what is that energy, though?
What energy?
That's from Tony.
What energy? What do you mean by that? What do you, I guess I don't get the question.
We'll come back to that one. Tony clarifies it, but there's a question here, Ken. Can you talk about being a mom and a parent mothering, please?
Yeah. So it's very natural. It's very natural. When there was a sense of separation, is this the right thing to do? Is that the wrong thing to do? There's a lot of that kind of going on because there was ideas, belief systems arising of the right and wrong way to be. It's natural parenting, going over flashcards, getting the kiddo off the school bus. It's just what's arising, you see? But when we live on a path and an idea, we think, okay, if I was enlightened, I won't have children. Or if I did have children, I won't ever get frustrated, all those types of things. And it's just a misconception. It's actually a fantasy. But what I will say is parenting can actually seem to soften and become brighter when there's no longer the neurotic energy of trying to be a better mom or trying to be a better dad. You see? Because you already are enough. This is enough. So those ideas of inadequacy and lack collapse. And finally, that innocence can bubble forth. Yeah.
This one is from Pavel. You say nothing needs to change, but there is difference. Either there's a sense of separateness or there is not.
Read that one more time.
Pavel, if you want to go live, I guess you say nothing needs to change, but there is difference. Either there is a sense of separateness or there is not.
Right. But it's all the absolute. The absolute appearing as a person seeking, biting its own tail, or that apparently dropping. The absolute doesn't care if this is heard because the absolute is already appearing as everything, including a person. So that's what I mean by nothing needs to change because already this is it. And however it's appearing as the character, you see, but when we feel separate, we're trying to be like cookie cutters and let's all be like this. And it's going to be just like this. It's not a certain quality. It's this, it's wild, it's free, and it appears how it wants to be.
Tony made a follow up to his question. He basically was referring to that energy that when he practiced a meditation and energy work with the guru, that he can feel the energy increase. So, what was that energy? Is what he wants to know.
It's wholeness. It's the absolute. But the absolute can also appear as laziness and being exhausted and cranky, you see? But again, what seems to drop is the idea of sadness, isn't it? Only gladness is it. Only when I'm in my heart am I there and liberated. Oh no, those ideas collapse and it's everything. It's, looking like a hot mess because you've been up all night or whatever it may be. That's it. That's it.
Janique goes, sorry, why was the Library of Alexandria burnt down?
I don't know what that is, so I can't comment.
If you want to clarify that, God. Oh, there's another one here. Sorry. This Dark Sagan asks, did you achieve enlightenment via meditation? And if so, what meditation techniques do you recommend, such as body scanning?
No, so this didn't achieve anything. Enlightenment's a story. It's not real. Enlightenment is for the me. That's why it's enlighten me. It's all about you and a specialness. What seems to drop is the idea that you're not enlightened already, or that this is not liberation or paradise. That's what seems to fall. But I can say that in the story of Anna, there was much seeking. There was spirituality and meditation, and God damn it, you name it, there was all kinds of stuff going on. It didn't bring me closer. It seemed to dwindle depression and anxiety, but there was still someone here going, okay, so I feel a little less anxious and a little less depressed, but what's next? What's the next meditation? What's the next book? What's the next blah, 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 right? That collapsed because this is it already.
All right. So people that can't get through the Zoom, I'm really sorry. I'm trying my best to do that. There's a lot of people asking for access. The YouTube lives, you can ask questions there. Question here. Could we say it's something like the inevitable throwing of all ideas that the brain holds on to?
Say that one more time.
It's the could you say it's something like the throwing out of all ideas that the brain holds on to?
It seems like that. They can still arise. Old ideas, old beliefs, old memories can seem to arise. There's no one there interested. So yeah, it's just there's no one there buying them, so to speak, buying a ticket to this belief, buying a ticket to that drama, buying a ticket to this story. It collapses, but anything can appear. It's okay. Yeah.
Could it be that people hate you more as soon as you're awake?
Again, no rules. I can say though, relationships can bend and collapse when there's no longer the same putting stories on a pedestal or beliefs and meaning, right? Or they can seem to come together. Again, no rules here. But yeah, it can seem to put a little wedge sometimes within relationships, or again, come together. Anything can happen.
Lita asks, so there's no psychology?
Psychology arises as this. It's oneness appearing as psychology, but psychology doesn't bring you closer to liberation because there's only liberation appearing as psychology. Yeehaw. Psychology's for the seeker. It's for the one who feels inadequate. It's for the one working on things. And psychology's smart. This saw therapist. This actually went to school for psychology for a bit. It makes total sense. It doesn't make sense when there's no longer a person.
Can you talk more about this freedom?
This is freedom. You got a question? I don't know. It's already this. It's everything. Yeah, the can. Yeah. Hair. Smiling. It's that question there. It's that face. It's, you know, if your body temperature's warm, it's that as well. It's the itch right there. Okay, got an itch. All right. Pushing the glasses up, liberation. There is only that. So you can't mess this up, my friends. There's actually no you to mess it up.
Question here from Anne. So seeking can still continue?
Oh, no, seeking totally collapses. Seeking totally collapses when this is heard. Now, what can seem to arise is an oscillation, where it can seem like, I like to say within the story of Anna, there was like armor was coming off. Okay, here's the helmet, shoulder pads, the sword. It was a slow undress here, but for some, it's we're naked, you see. But seeking liberation or enlightenment totally collapses because it's seen that boop, 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 you're it. This is it. But again, seeking for your car keys, seeking for a new sweater, you know, that might arise, sure, but that's liberation already. Yeah.
Saeed goes, why absolute appearing here is always contracted?
A contraction. The contraction can arise, but that's oneness appearing as a contraction. So what? Oneness appearing as resistance. So what? It ends when it ends. But most of the time we have these ideas of thinking this isn't it. Okay. And it depends on the character. Each character has apparent different stories, right? And so there can be very deep underlying beliefs that you are inadequate. This is black. This is not fulfilled already. This is not paradise, which can seem to contract down. Totally. Yeah. But that seems to soften gradually, seems to gradually. That's an optical illusion, or swiftly. But there's nothing wrong with resistance, I must say.
Question here. It's I seem to have a glimpse of an altered state or a moment of spaciousness, almost like immediacy, vibrantness. I didn't seem to be consciously doing anything to get there, even though I was seeking during that time. I find a strong desire to get it back or get back to it. Could you comment?
Well, you can't get back to it because it's appearing as this. But there may be an idea that what's appearing as your body and the sensations arising are not the absolute. And I can only confirm that it is the absolute. And what can seem to happen is an unraveling, an apparent unraveling where those dynamics of beliefs and stories that, I shouldn't be in resistance, I shouldn't feel this way, seem to dwindle and a softness can arise. And every emotion, sensation, and thought is allowed to be because everything is you. So there's no denial anymore.
Question here. Anna, good to see you. Do desires and expectations then fall too?
Expectations do, but you could say desire to go get a drink, go out to eat, all of these types of things. But let's say from the lens of feeling separate and being a person, desires are everything, because my fulfillment is over there. My fulfillment is over there. Over there is liberation. Over there. So this is the fulfillment. And then let's say going on vacation or going to buy a purse or going to watch The Matrix or whatever that may arise, but that's fulfillment going to do all of those things already. None of those things will actually bring fulfillment. That's the fallacy. So that collapses and everything's just enjoyed for what it is fully without trying to get to the illusory next moment because there isn't one.
Anna from Gunay here. When you say this is it, what do you mean by that? Is what is being perceived by senses except this room, this computer screen, Anna appearing on it?
Yeah, exactly. Just like when there's an apparent dream at night, it arises and it appears real and unreal simultaneously, yet nothing is actually happening. Nothing is actually happening here. It's untraceable. It's untraceable. Now, for the person, they're constantly jotting everything down, remembering, noting, docking everything. And that's why they have a backpack that's like weighted with concrete that collapses and every moment is refreshed like the breath, and it can be joyful or painful. It can be very alive and intense, or it can be very anything can appear, you see. But that heaviness of time totally collapses because it's not real. It just appears to be.
Anna, what about the teachings of Nisargadatta Maharaj? Is it wrong to follow?
It's not wrong to do any. There is no right or wrong. So that's the good news. If there's a character that loves Nizzy, I call him Nizzy. So excuse me, but that's just what I go for because his name's a little hard to pronounce sometimes. So yeah, this I am that beautiful, right? True, but there's a lot of pointings as teachings in there. But if you look to the core, he points to this, but there's a teaching there. You see, of meditation or follow this truth or that. There's nothing wrong with that. Whether it's a path of yoga, breath work, I don't know whatever it is, that's probably going to play out. There's nothing wrong with that. This still does yoga, but the yoga isn't bringing me closer to liberation. It's liberation appearing as practicing yoga. Liberation, opening, I am that. Ooh, cool, awesome. Reflection. That's all it is. But you can also get the reflection, from just looking outside at the birdies or the squirrels. You see, everything is that.
This one is from Lisa. Hi, Anna. There is a glimpse here. Can you make this permanent in the weekend retreat this weekend?
Nothing's permanent. That's the great news. It's impermanent, so to speak. Everything is fleeting. Nothing is lasting. So what we're speaking about is the absolute. It wasn't born and it can't die. You see? So it's not a permanent fix. Now, the person believes the body's real and it was born with the body. It's trying to make everything like in a little bubble. Please stay this way. Please stay this way. We're not talking about a state of consciousness. That's what's different about this, so to speak, than spirituality. We're not talking about a state of consciousness. It's constantly moving and blending and breathing. It's like liquid love. You see? So that's what I mean by anger can appear, frustration, gladness, bliss, ecstasy, romance, anything can appear. It's always blending and moving. And yet something doesn't change. And that's what we're speaking about, you see.
Anna, this is from Atenas. I describe it as the collapse of hierarchy or verticality. where one thing is higher or better than the other. Now,
Mhm.
things are still different, yet equal in their existence. Appearance, and there is no higher or better. It's like a collapse of house of cards. First, you have the structure of cards sitting on different levels, and then you have the same cards, but all of them are scattered on the same level. What's your take on this?
Sure, sure. I like the snowflake analogy. It's like, we could see ourselves as God's thumbprints. They're all unique snowflakes. But when snow hits the ground, it's just one blobby mass of whiteness, nothingness. So, sure. Yeah.
Carissa asks, can you talk about timelessness?
Yeah. This is timelessness appearing as time already. And that's you can't believe that. The mind will try really hard to believe, okay, I'm timeless, I am formless, trying to turn it into a mantra. But already this is timelessness appearing as time. It's unbelievable, really. Um, but yes, time won't go away. It appears. Obviously, here we are. It arises. But this is not separate. There's time and then, okay, let's get to timelessness, right? Or here's human, let's get to wholeness or divinity. This is it already. It's a seamless.
And ask, a feeling of anger arises and the mind thinks the same thoughts of dislike, which leads to aversive behavior. It seems constant. Can you speak to that, please?
Yeah, that's what seems to arise when there's a sense of separation. It's kind of like a wheel. Okay. And now, even when it's been seen through, you're not controlling that. You're not doing it. It's just arising. Okay. But what can seem to inflame that is beliefs of like, okay, I shouldn't have this anger. Okay. Now let's watch the thoughts. Now let's change the thoughts. Now let's try to elevate the energy and move you know what I mean? There's like a checkbox for things you need to manipulate and change. When those dynamics collapse, because that's what we call mind, there really isn't a mind, then anything can appear and there's just a softness around it. So anger can be alive. And it's like a firework in the night sky, collapses back into the void. Okay. Now, for the neurotic person, one who truly believes time is real, the next day, that same story is still going on. There really isn't a next day. But you get what I'm saying. It's living in this perpetual loop of feeding it and feeding it and feeding it, because for some reason, that's not right. It shouldn't be there. That's what I mean by that collapses, and it can appear and it can be uncomfortable. Yeah. And totally, totally full on, but for nobody. So, yeah.
Anna, can old trauma based on the story of the me still arise?
Sure. Anything can appear, but I will say no one will be thrown up against a wall with it. You know what I mean? So when there's a person there, it can seem like being choked out, traumatic, slapped around, that collapses. It can just arise like a flicker. There's no one interested in it. It just kind of collapses because no one's talking back. No one's spinning the pinwheel. But it can appear, sure.
Hello, Anna. In an earlier video, you spoke about experiencing certain paranormal things. Can you talk about that a bit more? Do you think ghosts, for instance, are as real as we are?
Oh, it's just what's happening. You can see this like a hologram. Anything can appear. But in the story of Anne, I was raised Catholic, and there's demons, man. Oh my God, all kinds of stuff. And this character was really into haunted houses and scary movies and all that stuff, which seemed to ingrain a consciousness or a belief in those things, right? And so there was kind of like a self-fulfilling prophecy that would seem to arise. Sure, yeah, those things arose. But paranormal activity, seeing things float through the wall or whatever, it doesn't bring you closer. It doesn't make you special in that sense. It's just what's arising. Again, no better or worse than drinking coffee or eating pancakes. That's just what arose here. There isn't a specialness in it. It actually was quite frightening as a child, and kind of a curse in a way, to see that kind of stuff arise. But really, it's a dream. I'm sharing a story. So yeah, it's all the absolute appearing as ghosts or demons or goblins or Krishna or Virgin Mary or Jesus or whatever. Yeah.
Question here from Bertrand. Is it true that by seeing the mechanics of the mind and its neuroticisms, I can't pronounce that properly, they can seem to fall away?
Well, that's what we like to think when we're like on a path of psychology, right? We're trying to work with the mind. There really isn't a mind. So already from the standpoint of psychology, there's a sense of separation because there's me and my mind, and I want to get to the bottom of it. There's only the absolute appearing as thoughts. It's just arising. It's just appearing. There's nothing special about it or concrete. It only seems very special and concrete when there's a sense of separation. That's why we go into those books and stories and teachers, because we think if we alter those things, I'm going to get closer to this. No, you may just, again, anxiety may seem to dwindle, depression may seem to dwindle. Ooh, I have more confidence today, whatever it is. But that's not what we're speaking about in a sense. There is only liberation. There is only wholeness, and doing those tinkerings won't bring you closer. Actually, those tinkerings and interest in those things totally collapse because you're fucking sufficient already. This is adequacy. Awesome.
Anna, you spoke about a time when you were oscillating. I take this to mean that you experience your energy as up or down, good or bad. What is an example of something that your mind didn't understand at the place that your mind understands in this place?
Okay, so as I share anything with a story, it is a story. It's vapor. Oscillation, it's not like this. Oscillation, more like an opening and a closing, right? Contraction, the dropping of contraction. Seeking, the dropping of seeking. That's what I mean by oscillation. But I like to say that even that opening and closing is like wings of a butterfly on the body of oneness. So what? It's just what's arising. It's just what's happening. But yeah, it's just like a sense of seeking would arise, but there was no choice in that.
Anna, is there consciousness controlling this stuff happening, or is it like subconsciously happening?
We use subconscious to try to understand our behaviors, and I get that, it makes sense, but it's sub, something below. And same with the word consciousness, we can make that very personal. So I try to stray away from the word consciousness, because no word can really encapsulate this. There's an impersonal seer, there's a seer, it's what's looking through your eyes. But if there's a sense of contraction or that personal localization, it's me looking through here and I'm trying to get something. There's an urgency to get somewhere. There's such an urgency that you're missing something. There's a hole. There's a hole. But that's wholeness appearing as a whole.
Guneko asks, can you talk about things being unreal and unreal spontaneously?
Yeah, that's this. This is no more real than a dream at night. It arises. It's like vapor. It seems very real and alive. And there's sensations. It's just everything is very fleeting. It's very close to the breath. That's like the closest pointing, because it's constantly refreshed. It's renewed. It's full. It's buoyant, or it's not. But it's kind of like a recycled, a refresh. Nothing is concrete like we think it is. Nothing is concrete like we think it is. It only seems that way.
Anna, is astrology real?
In the story, I mean, it's just stories. So we can go into like, okay, I'm a Taurus, and these are the character traits, and this is what we do. And that's fun. That's just a story. And that's a dynamic of the character. Now, when we feel separate, astrology is guiding me to my life's purpose and what I'm here to do. And here's my chart. Look at my chart. Here it is. You know what I mean? There's a lot of that. There's a deep importance in astrology, but it's just fluff. And if there's a character that's interested in it, it could still carry on. Maybe the job is an astrologer. The importance, the specialness collapses in that, especially in the idea that your astrology is a roadmap to enlightenment.
Question here. If you got just one word, what would it be?
No word.
SD. How does the illusion of separation arise so much if it doesn't actually exist?
It only seems to be. It really only seems to be. And this is what oneness wants to play as. And that's why there's no agenda here, because it's just playing with itself. It's all just playing with itself. So a sense of localization, a sense of seeking appears, or it doesn't. There is no better or worse than that. Obviously, seeking for that which you already are is uncomfortable. That's why it's uncomfortable. Yeah, but that ends when it ends, and that's heard when it's heard. Hmm?
Anders goes, does the contraction dissolve immediately or gradually over time?
Well, here it seemed to oscillate. It seemed like it was a slow undress, but there's no rules. For some, it's they don't even miss a beat. What are you talking about? Separation. What are you talking about? It's not even because it's so natural. It's just it depends on the character. You see, for here, there's a lot of stubbornness, so there was a lot of turbulence. Others I've heard reports didn't miss a beat. It's just slide into home base, so to speak.
EM asks, do we have to care about climate change and caring for environment?
You don't have to care about anything, but I can say that this character here loves butterflies and milkweed and nature deeply, and so this naturally gives back to that, and that still carries on. But the idea of saving the planet and saving the world, and I'm a martyr and I'm here to do all of these things because I'm special, that collapses. But tending to your garden or going to plant trees or picking up litter when you're on your walk, why can't that arise? That's a character trait. But if it doesn't arise, there's no one shaming you or smiting you.
Anna, can you speak about unconditional freedom?
Yeah, it's the same as unconditional love. It's this already. It's so free. It pretends. You're pretending. It's so free. It's hiding. It's hiding, and this is just an invitation to say, "Come out of hiding, man. You're safe. Don't be afraid. It's all good. It's okay." Yeah.
Bertrand asks, sometimes listening to these uncompromising non-duality speakers, I seem to burst out laughing sometimes, as well as sometimes having an odd feeling of absolute beauty and absolute terror at the same time. Sometimes this feeling would like to engulf this character, but seems unable to let it all collapse. Could you please comment on this? Or can you comment?
Yeah, there can totally be a resonance as well as kind of like a resistance or a terror. The terror is just belief systems or stories. The only thing that can be threatened is what's not real. They're lies, and you're not a lie. So what resonates with us, that which is like, holy yeah, oh yeah, baby, yes, yes, yes. That's it. That's what's eternal and immortal. Now, what gets threatened by it is just it's just mind stuff, what you would say. It's just ideas and beliefs of what we think this is. And of course it feels terror because it thinks that it goes with the body. It really thinks it was born and will die, but that softens and lessens.
Question here. Um, Anna, I still like doing meditation in different practices, but I just do it to feel good. The search ended, but it feels good to meditate, etc., like exercising the body, etc. How is that for you?
Sure, go for it. I mean, this doesn't meditate anymore, but again, like I shared, this will still practice yoga, but it's not to get anywhere. It just feels really great on the body. Yeah, same with going for walks or hikes or whatever it may be. Sure. Yeah, why can't that carry on? But looking for something in meditation totally collapses because there is only meditation. Hmm.
Is God slash energy slash oneness self conscious?
Say that one more time.
Is God energy or oneness self conscious?
It can appear as whatever it wants to be. That's what a sense of self is it's oneness playing with itself. So if it wants to appear as a sense of localization in a person looking for it and having these types of personal experiences, that's what it'll appear as. It's very dynamic, it's magical, it can bend, it's light, so it can contort into anything, including what you're saying there.
Aniko goes, what happens with the soul when somebody die?
There is no soul. The soul is very much a religious and spiritual term, and if you remove the letter you from the word soul, you have SOL, which is Spanish for sun. I resonate more with that soul, and that's what's here now. So if you remove the you, there's just light. That's this. There is no death.
Gane asks, nothing being solid is scary for me, but I suppose in the absence of me, it is the most natural thing.
Yeah, yeah, but fear can appear. Anything can appear, but it's from usually immediacy, an immediate response. Most beings live in fear of future and past projection, right? Because what we call our mind is just belief systems. It's philosophies of what we think we know. This is not about knowing. So it's like a fall back into the unknown, which arises as an innocence or a curiosity or a wonder. And that can appear very taboo as a character trait. I can't say. It's very wild.
Tony wanted to clarify that question about the
Mm.
God. Basically, he's asking, Does it know it exists, like God, energy, oneness, or self, or consciousness?
It's a knowing without knowing. Yeah. It's a knowing without knowing. It's this. Hmm?
And can you please comment about chakras? Are they real?
Well, chakras are a wheel, kind of like a hamster wheel, and you'll keep spinning and spinning and spinning and spinning. They're just stories. My goodness. And you can spend a lot of time being distracted by trying to clear those chakras. They're just stories. You didn't come into this world going, my God, my chakras today at the age of 2, right? No, you heard about it. They're stories.
Ask, do you think oneness has a will?
A wheel or a
A will,
will?
a will, like a WILL.
It can appear as a will, right? It can appear as that. It can appear as a personal will. Yeah, it can appear as anything. But the idea of like willpower and efforting and trying to get to this, those types of things collapse. Obviously, let's say, for example, you're going to try to run a marathon. It seems like there's the strength or the effort, the willpower to train and do all of those types of things. That's the absolute appearing as that. But there's no will in the sense of like, it depends on how you're defining will. It really does.
Can you please talk about the absence of free will?
Yeah, it's just an idea. It's an idea that you're in there choosing. It's an idea that there's a fork in the road. So what we call you, what you call me, they're ideas. It's an idea. It's just a mental structure. And so what we call mind stuff, the person really lives up here, like in the attic. There really isn't one. There really isn't a mind. It's a totally illusory and imaginary. It collapses, and then there's immediacy. There's a clear seeing of what is. It's boom, 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 boom. The words come out. You hear them fresh. There's not of this whole like tons of regurgitation, contemplation stuff going on up here. You see, it's just immediacy. And honestly, you can forget what happened the moment before because it's so alive and so fresh and no one's holding on to shit. It's like picking up sand at the beach and it's going through your fingers. That's the aliveness.
Hi, Anna. Thank you for doing this. Who is your main teacher?
I am my own muse, my love. And I'm a reminder that you're your own muse. So this, when there is seeking, lots of teachers, they're all bullshit. Put it on pedestals, put specialness with their little turbans and their little entourages and all this bull crap. No teacher. Now, if I'm training, which I do train, this loves exercise. Yeah, there's personal trainers. That's my teacher in a sense, but teaching enlightenment, absolute nonsense. There's only enlightenment already, and that's appearing as this conversation.
Robert asks, is the Jolene character in Jed McKenna's books based or inspired by Anna?
I've heard this question before, and I don't know who Jolene is, and I've never read Jed McKenna's book, so I really can't say, man. I don't know.
I don't know.
Jolene, Jolene,
Jolene.
Jolene, Jolene. Okay.
Can you talk about forgiveness and do I need to forgive to get enlightened?
Oh no.
That's from Kale.
No. See, these are ideas, especially if we've been in religion, we need to forgive, right? Come on now. This isn't about any of those things. You don't need to change. Already there can be forgiveness that appears, compassion, empathy, or it doesn't. Now, when we have an idea that we should be different, oh my God, I really should forgive them and be more compassionate. I'm feeling just really frustrated. And if I was enlightened and liberated, frustration wouldn't appear. I should forgive them. No, it either arises or it doesn't. So forgiveness is liberation. Not forgiving is liberation. There literally is only liberation appearing.
I think last question here.
Okay.
The Absira, I don't really understand how free will can exist. Doesn't my free will allow me to type this question and drink my water?
No, there's an overlay filter there that you're doing that. Otherwise, it's just what's arising. You see, are you controlling your heartbeat? And are you controlling your breath? No. What makes you think you're controlling anything? It's just a mere idea. Again, who we think we are is just a mere idea. oh, I'm typing this. Oh, I'm going to do that. That's the narrative I'm talking about. That narrative collapses and it's a boom immediacy. There's no ownership in any of it. There's no responsibility. Responsibility means there's a you and they're choosing things. There means there's other. That means there's a world. There is no other. You're speaking unto yourself.
Well, thank you so much, Anna, and thank you so much. I'm so sorry about the Zoom links. I made a mistake, but
Uh-oh.
I know. People are trying to get in. um, I'll see you this weekend if you guys want to join Anna a two-day radically wonderfully nothing event. I will put the link up to now. If you guys want to stay for the breakout room, you can, and you can unmute yourself and say bye, Anna. And here is the link.
Thank you so much, Anna.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was wow.
Thank you.
So lovely.
Bye,
Bye.
bye.
Woo!
Bye now.
You are
Bye.
super sweet. You are sweet, sweet, sweet.
Love
Bye,
your
Anna.
Love you.
Love you,
Good
Anna.
night.
Love you.
Ciao.
You too.
Kiss your babies. Kiss your
Thank you.
babies.
Yep, will do. Will do. Will do. Take care, friends.
All right,
Thanks.
I'm going to open the breakout rooms now. Thank you, Anna.